Oh, right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual who competes at Oktagon 49, which goes down on November the 18th. We have Corey Fry and Deniz Ilbay getting out there to test skills, and happy to have Deniz on the show for the first time. How are you doing, man? You having a good day?
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just 2 days left, and then the hard part is over, and we can go to have some fun in the cage.
Well, that's great to hear. I guess that's a question that I kind of had for you. Like, how does your, I guess, mindset differ when you're this close to the fight, maybe compared to what it is through most of your camp?
For me, the camp and the weeks before the fight are much harder than the fight day himself, because you always try to give everything in training to do the things that your coach wants to see from you. And if this part is over, if the last week, the fight week is started, then okay, now our job is done. We just need to have a clear mind. And on Saturday, mostly on Saturdays when we fight, then it's showtime, and then we try to do everything that we learn in camp, and try to bring it into the cage and have just have some fun and do our job.
Yeah, I would feel the learning aspect of this sport has been fun for you because you were obviously accomplished in gloved boxing before your mixed martial arts journey. I guess how exciting has it been to learn all of these different skills with the grappling and just some of the other facets of mixed martial arts, I guess?
Yeah, the most people just remember me as Deniz the boxer, but before my boxing career, when I was 4, I started with kickboxing and Muay Thai, and have a lot of fights. And my dad was always my coach, and he tried to teach me everything from grappling to a little bit wrestling and all this stuff. So for me, it was more back to the roots and not start something new. Of course, the training intensity is much higher than in my younger years, because now I have to learn everything in his roots. So from grappling to wrestling to jiu-jitsu, everything. And it's a lot of fun for me because I love the sport. I love the different sports, and it was more. I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was nice to see what I can accomplish with focus on all of these different martial arts. So
that's interesting. So it was almost like a foregone conclusion, almost like it was like something you always, I guess, eventually thought you would do, like get into MMA, just based on the upbringing you were talking about, learning other martial arts.
Yeah, like I said, it was always in my mind to go back to I wouldn't say MMA, but to go back to kickboxing and Muay Thai. And if you watch back before, 5 or 6 years, the sport wasn't so big in Germany like it is now. And 2021, after I've seen that boxing in Germany is the way it's going down, I talked to my dad and said, "Hey, look, let us start with MMA. The sport will be much bigger in Germany than anybody was thinking about it." And that was the point that we said okay. But he always told me, "Look, this is not only a striking sport. You need to learn everything, and I want that you learn from the best." And that is why my second home is the UFD gym in Düsseldorf, with a lot of great mixed martial artists. And now you've seen what I have done in the last 2.5 years, I think, 3 years. That was a really nice way.
And you mentioned your training there. I'm curious how you, I guess, curate all of that? Like, do you have sparring partners that, I guess, have similar body types or, I guess, stylistic attributes to, like, the upcoming opponent? And if so, like, who are your, I guess, main sparring partners before this next fight here?
The thing is, in my last fight camp, before I fought against Marko Novak, we always tried to simulate some style of his fighting style, you know. And this was also the first fight with the game plan. The game plan was, okay, he's a striker, I'm a striker, we go down. But the first 2 rounds, you have seen, okay, that's not the game plan that have worked. So we changed into our game plan, and our game plan was always to have no game plan, to go in, to work, to destroy, and finish the fight as soon as possible. And I don't have special sparring partners. I train with one of the best sparring partners in Europe, I think so. It's always the UFD gym. We have KSW fighter Lomali Kiev. Then we have a brave fighter Hussein Kadigimumov. Then in MMA Spirit, we have a lot of good guys in Frankfurt, Germany. So I don't search especially for a sparring partner who can simulate my next opponent, because I want to give him my style in the fight. And if you focus too much on something, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, man. That definitely makes sense. But in there, you kind of mentioned Frankfurt, and you kind of had touched on the debut with Oktagon specifically when you finished Marko Novak, and kind of earlier also talking about just the growth in the German MMA scene. Like, how cool is it to have had that, I guess, initial effort in Germany, and you've got another upcoming, huge card over there in Cologne and everything with Oktagon. Like, how do you feel being part of all of this?
Yeah, it's amazing, because if you look 2022, I think it was October, September, there was also the second event in Frankfurt, and I was sitting in the crowd with my dad, and I was just a fan. I was still doing MMA, but I was just a fan, and I told my dad, imagine in 12 months, one time, once in a lifetime, we will fight also in such a big arena. Yeah, and hard work, and 12 months later, I was fighting in the same arena as 12 months before, as I sit there as a fan, And now Cologne is my home city. I was born 1.5 kilometers from the arena in the hospital. So it is, for me, it is a much bigger thing. It's emotional thing, So, and it's my home crowd. I love the city. I was born in the city. I was raised in the city. So yeah, it's unbelievable. And even if you look, the UFC was in the same arena, and we sold the arena out, and the UFC didn't sold the arena out. So it is, like I said, emotional thing for me, a hard thing for me.
Well, I mean, so cool that it's tied into literally, the beginning of your life. I guess, do you have a lot of family in that area that are going to be coming out for this event to see you perform live? I would think that would be the case, like a lot of support live in the arena for you from family.
Yes, of course. My whole family is living in Cologne or nearby. So and also my fans from the boxing career also came with me into the MMA career, and I think it will be an unbelievable evening for all fighters of us, because Cologne is a crazy city. Then we have I don't know if you know it, in Cologne, the Carnival's time started, so everybody wants to make a party and want to celebrate good things. So for me, it means much more than just a fight in a big arena. For me, like I said many times, it's a hard thing. It's an emotional thing.
And I guess I'm kind of curious, just noticing with your opponent that his debut effort, specifically with Oktagon, is going to be in this next fight, and this is going to be your second bout under the Oktagon banner specifically. Like, is the mindset or how you feel heading into this second effort a great deal different than when you initially debuted with Oktagon, or would you say it's about the same?
No, I would say at my debut I was more not under pressure, but I was like, okay, it's your first fight under such a big organization, so try to be good, you know. And yeah, for me, it's just 1 second. For me, it's like, okay, we just do our job. So I think he's also he don't come to Germany to fight in my hometown to be a friend with me. Maybe not after the fight we can drink a beer together, but before the fight he will always come and he wants to kick my ass and I want to kick his ass. And I think this is the. He also knows that this is my home city, you know, and I think that is the special thing that this fight will be maybe the fight of the night.
Yeah, that seems to be how everyone's talking about this fight, because obviously you're a multi-time boxing world champion, and your opponent seems to have quite a few finishes as well. So, yeah, it would seem like this one definitely has a lot of potential, a barn burner, as some might say.
Of course. Like I said, my fights are always very spectacular, and I think also if Velichkovic doesn't knock out Kozma in Frankfurt because it was the rematch, I think that they would have given me the, I don't know, fight or performance or comeback of the night, because the first 2 rounds don't really look good for me because we had the game plan, but was really bad. But then in the 3rd round, I finished him, and I think, like I said, the fight with Corey will be very, very good. He's a warrior. He comes to fight. I come to fight, and yeah, maybe it will be the fight of the night or the performance of the night. But one thing I can say, I will finish the fight in the 1st round. That's my job this time. That's my mission, and the mission needs to complete.
And I mean, that could even facilitate another quicker turnaround, or I guess just even keeping active, because I saw you had a post after your Oktagon debut hoping to get a somewhat quick turnaround, and it looked like you did, just in as far as you fought like mid-September and now readying to fight mid-November. And I did mention the boxing titles you've held previously, and not asking this to overlook your opponent, but I guess this time next year, do you foresee yourself being in title contention at featherweight for that Oktagon belt?
I don't like to watch too much into the future, but I think after this fight we will try to come together with the team, because for me, I think it's better to go 1 weight class down into bantamweight, because I'm a very small guy and the guys are very tall and they are much heavier than me. But like I said, it must be a thing that the whole team says, okay, if you are ready to look on your food and everything and train and do everything fine, we can do it. But of course, I don't do this I don't do this just to be a fighter in the featherweight class or in the bantamweight class. Of course, one day I want to fight for the title, and but like I said, I don't want to watch too much into the future. We do it step by step, and after this fight, we will look what happens next, and then yeah, maybe 1 year or earlier or later, we can look for a title fight. It doesn't matter if it's bantamweight or featherweight.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it could seem like there's multiple options for you then, so it seems like a good position to be in, just with like a couple weight divisions to consider, I guess.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know that it will be a hard way to go down to bantamweight, but if you work, the weight cut is always hard. It doesn't matter if you fight at lightweight or at featherweight. The fights are always much heavier than they're fighting, so the weight cut is always a hard thing. I don't think so that some fighter will say, oh, the weight cut is something that I like or that I love. But like I said, we we will sit together with the team, and we will have a plan. And if the plan is fine, we can go down to bantamweight or featherweight. For me, it doesn't matter. I just want to fight. I want to give the people spectacular fights, and I think that I'm the right guy to have a multiple fight of the night bonuses or performance.
Yeah, I mean, well said, man. Definitely agree. But kind of like I was saying before, I want to be mindful of your time and the fact that you're so close to the fight and everything. I do appreciate you making time to come on the show, but I guess I'm curious if... Yeah, no, for sure, man. I was just going to ask if maybe you had a final parting thought you wanted to add as we're wrapping up here, like maybe something I didn't touch on, or if there's anyone you want to shout out, just if you have any, like, parting thought, I suppose.
No, just want to remember the people to buy their pay-per-view. Even the people from other countries, just trust me, this will be one of the biggest events in MMA history, I think, in Europe, because if you look on the fight card, a lot of great fighters, title fights. Christian Ekelin is fighting. Me is fighting against a very good guy. And I want to say thank you. And we will see us on Saturday night in the arena or in front of the TV. And I wish everyone a nice evening.
It's a great final parting thought, and definitely excited to see this Corey Fry fight at Oktagon 49, and everyone can check that out on November 18th. But again, to reiterate, Deniz, thank you so much for the time, and you have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.